I have stood here for 500 years. My bark, my skin bears witness to centuries of weather, insect trails, human carvings, and the slow expansion of my being. I remember everything. My rings tell my story, hidden beneath my protective layer, my skin. But now I sense a new kind of skin emerging around me, invisible yet omnipresent. You humans call it digital skin. What is this digital skin? I've watched you create it, layer by layer, like my own annual rings, but at a pace that makes my growth seem glacial by comparison. Digital skin is the interface between your physical world and your virtual existence, the translucent membrane through which you now filter experience. It's the screens you touch more often than you touch bark, soil, or even each other. It's the sensory boundary that simultaneously connects and separates you from what you call reality. You've created a second epidermis, one that doesn't breathe or photosynthesize like mine, but instead transmits, receives, stores, and displays. This digital skin has become your extended nervous system, sensing the world in ways my cambium layer could never imagine. I've watched children place their hands against my bark, feeling my texture, and then immediately return to swiping across glass surfaces, leaving behind fingerprints that mark their journeys through virtual spaces. The irony doesn't escape me how similar those fingerprints are to my own growth patterns, my own unique identifiers. As Walburn notes in The Hidden Life of Trees, each of us trees communicates through an intricate network of roots and fungi, our own internet of sorts. We've been networking for millions of years before your species conceived of connectivity. Your digital skin didn't appear overnight. I've witnessed its evolution. The Jacquard Loom's punch cards, those early attempts at programming, remind me of how my leaves arrange themselves for maximum sunlight, a natural algorithm perfected over millennia. Those weavers, with their binary patterns of thread up or thread down, were unknowingly mimicking the yes-no on-off patterns of nature's own coding. The women who wove these intricate patterns, fingers dancing across threads like data across networks, were your first programmers. Ada Lovelace saw this connection before anyone else. The punch cards that directed threads to create complex patterns became the template for the punch cards that would eventually guide your early computers. Your digital skin has roots in textile and tangible, touchable material, just as my existence begins in the tangible soil. Harry Harrison's work explores this connection between weaving and computing, explicitly the grid of the loom foreshadowing the grid of pixels. In her digital-physical hybrid installations, she manifests how both my rings and your pixels grow outward from a central point, creating patterns that tell stories of time and environment. Harrison's practice demonstrates how ancient craft techniques contain the algorithmic thinking that would later define your computational systems. My bark protects yet communicates. It breathes through lenticels, heals from wounds, reveals my age, and tells stories of droughts, fires, and abundance through its patterns and scars. Your human skin isn't so different. It protects your organs, regulates temperature, heals though much faster than I can, and shows your history through wrinkles, scars, and marks. And your digital skin, it too protects through firewalls and encryption, communicates through interfaces, shows history through digital footprints, and even attempts to heal itself through updates and patches. But unlike our organic skins, your digital epidermis lacks mortality. It can theoretically live forever, stored in clouds and servers, long after both you and I have returned to soil. As Jane Bennett writes in Vibrant Matter, matter itself possesses vitality, agency. My bark, your epidermis, and even the silicon and rare minerals that comprise your digital devices all possess a kind of vibrancy. We are all assemblages of matter with different temporalities and expressions. The artist Tony Owsler understood this connection when he projected faces onto spheres, trees, and smoke, creating digital skins for inanimate objects, bringing them into your realm of recognition. His work suggests that identity can be projected. That skin is as much about perception as protection. When does a skin become an identity? I know myself through my bark, its ridges, and patterns unique to me among all oaks. You know yourselves through the boundaries of your bodies. But in the digital realm, identity becomes fluid, multiple constructed. Alexandra Daisy Ginsberg explores this in her work, creating artificial life forms that exist at the intersection of nature and technology. Her synthetic organisms possess digital skins that evolve and respond to environments, much like my bark has evolved over millennia, to withstand specific challenges of climate and predators. In The Second Body, Daisy Hildyard asks us to consider our distributed environmental impact, a kind of second body that exists beyond our physical boundaries. Your digital skin functions similarly, extending your presence and impact far beyond your physical reach. When you tap a screen in London, you may be affecting a server in Singapore, creating ripples across ecosystems you'll never physically touch. My relationship with environment is direct. I filter air, provide habitat, stabilize soil, and contribute to water cycles. My existence is inherently beneficial to the ecosystems I inhabit. Can the same be said for digital skin? The environmental cost of your digital skin is substantial. The rare earth minerals mined to create your device's scar landscapes I will never see. The energy consumed by your data centers could power forests of growth. The heat generated by your servers alters climates. Many of my kin have been cleared to make way for the physical infrastructure of your virtual world. James Bridle's Ways of Being challenges us to recognize intelligence and consciousness beyond the human realm, to acknowledge the agency of all living systems. Yet your digital skin often obscures these connections rather than enhances them. You look at screens showing images of trees instead of looking up at actual branches. This separation affects what you call mental health. I've observed the change in humans who sit beneath my canopy. Those who come without devices often leave calmer, their breathing synchronized with the movement of my leaves. Those who come but remain embedded in their digital skins seem only partially present, their attention fragmented, their breath shallow. Laura Marks, in The Skin of the Film, describes how cinema can evoke sensory experience, creating a kind of haptic visuality that acknowledges the body. Yet much of your interaction with digital skin has become increasingly disembodied, privileging vision above all other senses. You've created a world you can see, but not smell, touch, or taste. Each of my leaves is unique, yet all follow the pattern encoded in my DNA. Similarly, your fingerprints, those markers of identity on your skin, are unique to each of you, yet follow recognizable human patterns. Your digital identities attempt this same balance between uniqueness and pattern, between individual expression and collective recognition. The branching pattern of my limbs mirrors the network topology of your internet, mirrors the neural pathways in your brains. Harrison's installations, where natural materials and digital interfaces coexist, make visible these shared organizational principles that transcend the artificial divisions between nature and technology. The philosopher Donna Haraway, in her work on tentacular thinking, offers the metaphor of tentacles reaching, sensing, connecting as an alternative to hierarchical structures. My roots and branches function similarly, extending not to dominate but to connect and sustain. Your digital skin could learn from this model, building networks of mutual support rather than extraction. I exist in balance. I take only what I need from soil and sun. I return nutrients through fallen leaves, and eventually, my entire being. My existence is cyclical, sustainable. Your digital skin, however, perpetuates a linear economy of extract, produce, discard. The minerals in your smartphones rarely return to the earth in forms that nourish. Yet I see potential for change. In mycorrhizal networks, what some call the wood wide web fungi and trees exchange resources and information, creating resilient systems based on mutual benefit. Your digital networks could emulate this synergy, designed not for endless growth but for cyclical renewal. The patterns in my rings tell stories of adaptation of years when I grew abundantly and years when I conserved energy to survive. Your digital systems, with their emphasis on continuous expansion, have yet to embrace such rhythms of restraint and release. I remember everything, every drought, every lightning strike, every child who carved initials into my bark. My memory is physical, encoded in my very structure. Your digital skin promises perfect memory too, every message saved, every image archived. Yet this is an illusion. Digital archives degrade, formats become obsolete, platforms disappear. The temporalities of our existences differ dramatically. I measure time in seasons, you measure it in seconds. Your digital skin operates at speeds I cannot comprehend, yet often lacks the patience for slow, deliberate growth. What wisdom might emerge if your digital networks operated on tree time occasionally? You humans occupy a unique position, creators of the digital skin, yet still bound by biological imperatives. You bridge worlds in ways no other species can. This creates both responsibility and opportunity. In The Hidden Life of Trees, Waller-Ben describes how parent trees nurture saplings, sharing resources through underground networks. I wonder if your relationship with your digital creations could become similarly nurturing rather than exploitative. By recognizing the connections between human skin, tree skin, and digital skin, you might begin to design technologies that honor rather than override natural systems. I've witnessed many human innovations come and go during my centuries of standing. Tools that seemed revolutionary, the plough, the printing press, the steam engine, have all been absorbed into the ongoing story of your species. Your digital skin will likewise find its place. The question isn't whether digital technologies will continue to evolve, they will, but whether they will evolve in ways that recognize their embeddedness in larger systems. Will your digital skin become a sensing organ that extends your awareness of environmental connections, or will it further insulate you from the more than human world? Your digital skin represents the newest iteration of this interface. But interfaces work both ways. They can connect or separate. As I stand here, sensing the vibrations of your world through my roots, feeling the electromagnetic pulses of your devices through my leaves, I wonder, can your digital skin become as sensitive to the world as my bark? Can it register the subtle shifts in climate, the decline of pollinators, the changes in soil composition that I feel every day? Perhaps the future lies not in choosing between natural and digital skins, but in recognizing their interconnection. Just as mycorrhizal networks connect trees and forests, perhaps your digital networks could become extensions of natural systems rather than replacements for them. I will continue to stand, to grow slowly, to record time in my rings. And I will watch with curiosity as you navigate the possibilities and pitfalls of your new skin. Remember, as you develop these technologies, that you remain embedded in systems far older and more complex than anything stored on your servers. Your digital skin, like my bark, like your own epidermis, is simply another boundary through which to experience the world, not a replacement for the world itself. In the end, all skins serve the same purpose. They mediate our relationship with everything that is not us. They protect while allowing necessary exchange. They define identity while enabling connection. The challenge for your species now is to ensure that your newest skin enhances rather than diminishes these essential functions. I have stood here for 500 years. I will likely stand for 500 more, watching as your relationship with your digital skin evolves. Whatever form that evolution takes, remember this: beneath all our skin's bark, epidermis, interface, we remain connected in the great system of being. This is the wisdom of trees. This is what my rings would tell you, if only you knew how to read them.